Hey guys, welcome back to the Gamer Emporium. I have Silent Chaos. You may know him from the Silent Broheen channel that we used to run together. He's kind of gonna run over some points at 3.0 with me. So here's chair squeaking in the background.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, giggity. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave the option up to you, man. What's the first thing you want to talk about with 3.0? What's the thing you're looking for the most?
Well, I don't know about the most, but just because I just saw it and we just kind of briefly touched on it, I just thought it was funny. I'm going to repeat it, even though you just heard it 5 seconds ago. One of the PvP improvements is that they are going
Keyword here, improvement.
Right. they're going to balance healers, and this is, I mean, in my experience, if they put a healer on your team, they're going to balance healers and DPS. There will also be adjustments so that players with losing streaks will be on opposite teams so that one of them can win.
Right. That's what we just found comical. Like, I agree with it, but I don't think it's going to work very well because balancing
So you're the guy with
healers,
the losing streak.
Yeah, like, okay.
He's getting on a losing team.
Well, I don't know. If you go back and watch my PvP videos, majority of the time when I make a video in PvP, I don't sit there and seek out a game I'm going to win. I kind of go into PvP, try my best, just talk about shit, and whatever comes to my mind, and I typically always lose in every video. So I don't understand how people like even 91 Extreme RT, every time he goes into a PvP, pretty much it's always a winning game. So I don't know if he just like records PvP all day and says the same thing in every video until he wins one, but I'm not about to do that. More power to him if that's what he does do. I'll have to ask him, but I'm not going to sit there and look for it. But as far as the healing, balancing healers, what's going to happen if... Are you going to not be allowed to change your spec for, like, the first, 5 minutes of the match? Because what if you... What do you do? Do you sign in to a PvP as a healer, and then once you get on the team you want to be on, because it delegated the healers to specific teams, then you change your role? What then? You still end up with 2 teams with no healers, or 1 team with all healers. I don't think it's going to work very well. But I do like the fact that instead of... Rift does have a problem with putting you on the same team every fucking time and always losing. So it's not very fun, in my opinion. But what are they doing to the gear? You said something about they're doing something to PvE and PvP gear.
They are combining. They're getting rid of Valor and Vengeance.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Valor and Vengeance are gone. Along with gear, they are getting rid of Toughness, and adding what was that called? Guard.
Is there anything going? Well, that's the.
Are we still talking about PvP?
On the PvP side, yeah. We'll get to Guard in a second, but on the PvP side, what are they doing? Anything in place of Valor and Vengeance? I mean, it seems like they're really sucking the life out of PvP out of this game. Like, it's going to be very, very normalized and very even. Like, the people that were really good at it once are going to be pissed because they can't play. But on the other hand, people like myself or the people that are worse than I am at PvP, are going to enjoy it a lot more.
Well, all I'm seeing is apparently PvP bolstering. Not sure what it is, but basically the floor, like the bottom of your stats, is the same as it was before. But the ceiling on stats is, what I understand, is based on the runes and the dream orbs that you have.
Right. So basically that's staying the same because they already have bolstering. If you don't have the gear, like 60 PvP, for instance, it gives you a bolster. If you don't have all Freelancer, it gives you a Freelancer bolster. So it basically brings your stats up to be kind of on par with everybody else. And the only thing that sucks about it is that you have someone in with a bolstered Freelancer, and then you have the guy in full Myrmidon or anything above that who's still going to kick your ass every time.
Right.
So,
well, it's not going to matter now because it's purely your runes and your dream orbs.
Right.
Because Vengeance and Valor doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly. So I'm going to like to see how that turns out.
Until more players. Oh, so they're not getting rid of Conquest. They're just getting rid of it until there's a adequate amount of people that reach 65 from the new level cap.
The thing I read the thing I read and the thing that was talked about was that they were actually, it said conquest power and perks are to be removed, and that's.
I'm
really
sure they'll
all it
come
said.
back when conquest comes back, though.
I don't know, because they always took into account conquest power for how easy it was to beat a raid. So like whenever you went into a raid like Frozen Tempest for people in T1, they had this expectation set that you were supposed to have full conquest power before you went into these raids, but nobody ever did that. So I think they're doing an overall adjustment to kind of redo, or at least the new raids that come out. I don't think they're going to be dependent on people with conquest power. I think they're going to be more dependent on the people who actually have the gear to do it.
Right. Well, that doesn't sound too bad. Why? I don't understand. Some people don't like PvP, so why should they have to PvP in order to do PvE?
Right. And it's the same thing with Destiny. A lot of people don't like the player versus player stuff. They're playing Destiny for the PvE side of things to kill, NPCs. And make it through the story and level up that way, but you're kind of limited to how far you can progress experience-wise unless you do all the PvP bounties too, which in my opinion take way too long to achieve. But
you don't have to do them, but I mean, you double your experience gain by doing all of them, just because they give out so much XP, per bounty, opposed to getting 5 or whatever it is for an enemy kill.
And I don't know. I don't want to touch on Destiny too much because it's supposed to be a 3.0 video, but yeah, the thing with that though is that the Crucible handler he sells the PvE gear too, so it doesn't make sense. But I think most games that are coming out, most MMOs especially, are kind of moving to that kind of thing to kind of even out PvP, so everybody can play it, everybody can stand a chance, that sort of thing. So
completely off topic. Did you know a hellbug could swim?
No, I didn't. But since we're going to be going to that topic on the PvE side of things here, yeah, I guess what'd you say the hellbug, the squirrels, and
Crocnard.
The Crocnard can do it too. See, the Crocnard makes sense.
Crab Norak, the Dupa.
What's a Dupa?
I don't fucking know. I'm just reading it.
I know the Thresher. Is the newest amphibious mount, and then I read that there's going to be a goldfish mount too. I haven't seen that yet. I think I might look into it just to see what it looks like, because I just imagine a goldfish with legs. I mean, okay.
And more PvE stuff. There's the simple
well, actually,
stuff
since we started on the gear and the stats, guard. So we were talking about guard.
Oh yeah, guard. So basically on tanks, they're getting rid of toughness. Where did I read this at?
Yeah, they're getting rid of toughness, and their tanks being able to tank in an instance is solely going to depend on your hit stat, just like if you were a DPS. But you still have to have,
Here we go.
a prominence of block, deflect. Are they getting rid of dodge? Does it say anywhere?
No, I'm assuming it's gonna stay, because although other tank stats like block and deflect, dodge is just rogue.
Right. Well, dodge
still remain.
Dodge was always kind of useless, even as a rogue.
Right.
I think because rogues were primarily deflect, and you can't dodge a boss's attack, so it was kind of useless. But anyways, the guard. Think of it this way: if your tank has guard. The higher the guard is, the higher the ability, but it's basically like if you were to stand within X amount of meters or whatever it's going to be, we're not sure yet, next to the tank or near the tank, you'll receive benefit from it. We're not sure what that benefit is going to be, but we can only assume that it's designed for if you want to play melee, like if you're a rogue and you want to play assassin and you want to play Nightblade or you want to play Blade Dancer.
Yeah, are you other rogues tired of having to be in marksman and ranger all the time?
Right, because you can't be within melee to actually attack the boss, because you're gonna die if you're in melee. It's much harder to. You have to really be on your toes. I'm not saying it's impossible, because it's not, but you really have to be on your toes when you're being in melee range of a boss. And I think that's what guard is designed to do, is to make it so people can get back in melee and receive some kind of bolster to their defense for being near the tank.
Yeah. And then speaking of, raids, they're adding one new raid, but it says one raid, and then you scroll farther down this, and it says that it's adding two, a 20-man and a 10-man.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be, well, there should be a 10-man and a 20-man for sure.
Yeah, the Reign of Fate is the 10-man, and Mount Sharax is the 20-man.
Right.
Along with
Whatever
6 new
those
dungeons,
are. I haven't
4
been.
new, 2 revamped.
Yeah,
1
did you hear they're
Chronicle.
bringing back the Iron Tomb? Making the Iron Tomb an expert. I can't wait for that one. That's one of my favorites.
I actually did like that one too. That's like the third one, isn't it?
Second one, I think. I think it comes after Realm of the Fae.
Yeah, that one is actually pretty fun. We go up the stairs, down the stairs, and you got to go hide the lights. I think that's the right one. I don't know. Been a long time.
I think so. I think it's the one where it has all those ghosts, the spectral anomalies or whatever that you have to like pull towards that light in the middle.
Yeah. You
have to fight those 3 guys at the same time.
And then I don't know what it is. Oh, it's a sliver, not a silver. I read that wrong.
A sliver.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what them are either. I haven't looked. This is really the first time we've like really touched on 3.0. I was kind of thinking like I want to experience it as it comes, so I wasn't really researching anything about it. But then I figured, well, this is sort of a Rift informational YouTube channel, so we started going through it today, and found this site on found an article on Riftgrade that kind of has a summary, so we're kind of passing it along.
We can probably put this in the bottom in the whatever you call it, where you type the words.
The description box.
Yeah, that
where
one.
where you type the words. Minions. Where's the part on minions in there?
Oh shit, I don't know. But I just read something kind of interesting. The water attunement's going to be required to use certain planner gear in the Nightmare Tide. Yep. Under gear changes.
Like what?
No, it just says water attunement will be required in order to use certain planner gear. Around 15 to 20% of the gear in Nightmare Tide will require this attunement, although no single type of gear will be exclusive to this attunement.
Well, given that water is one of the DPS attunements, I think mostly everybody that's 60 has that already.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Some people don't.
Well, I don't know. Oh, I have 10 points remaining. I'm actually at 993 planar attunement now. Shit.
Alright, you were saying minions. Oh, yeah, that's all the way at
there's minions that will do your bidding. Like, I remember minions in Torchlight. Well, it's not really a minion, but you have a pet in Torchlight. And you could take this pet and tell them to go take all your junk back to town and sell it. And I think that's along the lines of what Tryon is trying to do for Rift. Aside from that, I think they can complete X amount of certain types of crafting quests for you every day. They can gather materials for you, with a limited amount every day. It's going to be awesome to see, this change specifically out of all of them. I think I'm most excited for the minions. It's kind of like on Warframe how you could send that little doohickey out to one of the planets.
The extractor or whatever.
Yeah, it would farm for you pretty much. And I think that's one of the things that these minions are going to be able to do for you.
A new minion system is being introduced that will allow players to collect a large variety of minions and use them to complete adventures, which may bring a variety of rewards such as gathering material, artifacts, and loot.
Right. Yeah, and there's going to be different
vague
types of different minions that can do different things. I think I heard that on Seaton's video from when he came back from his trip to Tryon. He said something about different types of minions are going to be able to do different things. He didn't elaborate much on it, so yeah, we'll find out in a couple days, So. But what else is there on that list there? I had a whole list of shit that I wanted to talk about briefly,
up.
But mentoring up seems stupid to me.
Yeah.
I don't agree with mentoring up at all. But they did clarify some things. So I don't know. Have you ever heard of this before, like in a game, being able to mentor up?
No, you will mentor up to the highest level player in your party. If the highest level player mentors down, you will also mentor down to their mentored down level.
So let me put this into perspective for you. Originally, when we found out about mentoring up, it was going to be like a low-level character can come into the game, mentor up, and go see the rest of the game without like really playing and earning that level to see if they're going to like the game or not. And that's kind of how it still is. But the concerns were, are we going to get mentored up people? Like if you mentor up from, you have to be level 10 to mentor up according to this article. When you mentor up, you can only mentor up if you're in a full party of 5. And you can only get into a dungeon mentored up with a full party of 5. So to clarify, no, we will not have mentored up people with like 2 abilities total in a level 65 dungeon with us when we try to run random. So that was my biggest concern with was how many of these, like, am I gonna get stuck being a tank with 4 other characters that are mentored up?
Right.
So I'm glad that's not the case.
Well, yeah, it says potentially even like the opportunity to join bulk of player-based attack zone events, dungeons, and potentially even raids. The limitations it has listed would are you can't pick up quests higher than your actual level.
Yeah, and you can't use abilities that are higher than your actual level. That's one of them too.
But you will not receive higher level abilities than your real level. So you receive all the passives while you're leveled up. You have to be level 10 to mentor up, and you can't join a dungeon solo.
Right. Which is good. So.
What else?
Yeah, I mean, anything else that you can think of on that list of shit?
No, I don't understand this mastery thing.
10% of the new zone is going to be actually only underwater. I guess they learned their lesson with Ember Isle. So 10% of it underwater for the core quests or core content. The rest of it, raids, dungeons, instances, PvP, it's all going to be above water. I was actually really kind of hoping for being underwater.
And then there's masteries. I don't quite understand it, so I don't really...
Yeah, that's a new thing. Once you get to level 65 now, well, for each level above 65, you get to choose a mastery. Now, these masteries, from what I could tell from reading about this, they were passive. And as long as you're out of combat, you could change your masteries around for whatever purpose you need. And you can have your masteries save per spec that you're in. So you can change them at any time, and you can also save them so they stay a specific way depending on the role. Not that you have to, you know, switch from DPS to healing and then go in and toggle all your masteries into something different. So I'm gonna be curious to see what the new soul trees look like. I think Reaver's getting a big change. It's no longer going to be a warrior tank role or soul. It's gonna be a DPS soul.
I just realized that it's actually an entire new zone.
Oh yeah, just like Kate Jewel and Broheen.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be bigger. I think it's like
the first world.
Right.
So, I mean, these two together are pretty big. But I hope this one's a little bigger. I hope it's not too big.
I see 3 zones in it.
But 3?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting.
But they're all really big.
Yeah. So, it'll definitely be interesting.
That's all I see on here for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think we're forgetting anything, but, you know, that's just our insights and whatnot on 3.0. Now, things to do before 3.0. Does it say anything on there that they're converting?
Nope.
Converting currency. I heard somewhere that they're converting frozen eclipse stones. I don't know if it's true or not, though. But I spent mine just in case, because I needed to buy my last piece of T2 for armor-wise. Anyways, I think I got my belt. Yeah. So now I just need weapons and rings. A ring. No, I have both rings. Yeah. Yeah, I just need my T2 weapons and I'm pretty much set. But that's the other thing with gear too. This is speculation, but level 65, running dungeons, the dungeon gear is actually supposed to be better, equal to or better than our T2, or what is T2 now. So realistically, you could change, you know, your main character if I wanted. You know, I have 3 other characters, one of each type of class, or one of each character, rogue, mage, warrior, and cleric. I could take my cleric if I wanted, get him to 65 first, and I'd have pretty much gear equal to where my mage is at that I worked, you know, like a year and a half for. So
unless they make it so you have to have a hit requirement to get in, a higher, you know, a hit requirement.
I don't know if they would do that.
Probably tier 1 gear.
Right. I don't know if they would do that or not. That seems like a little... Yeah, I can't say they would do that, to make a hit requirement for that. I mean, there's going to be a hit requirement to get into the new dungeons, but it can't be... like, they're not going to let a new character that doesn't have T2 gear... Like, if you're starting fresh, right? So, you're starting from level 1, you level your way up to 65... They're not going to make you have like a million hit to get into these dungeons. They're going to gear, the gear you're going to get from the quests and whatnot, and PvP if they still do weapon caches, they're going to make it aligned so that you can get into the dungeons and then get your quote-unquote dungeon gear. Just like we had before. We have dungeon world gear, dungeon gear, and then raid gear. So, except it's just going to be on a higher scale. So... I would start farming infinity stones, and hopefully, you know, once you get to 65, you have enough resources to buy some stuff right away so you can get into these new dungeons. I imagine the hit requirement, if there is one, is probably going to be around like the 400 range. I'm willing to bet. It's probably going to, either that or they're going to keep it at 300. But
I'd say probably 350.
Because right now, Storm Legion experts, you need 300 to get in. So they might remove the hit requirement for these, because it's going to be old news. Once we're 65, we'll be able to blow through them and, you know, not even care, kind of like some of us do now. But I think there's going to be a hit requirement. It's just a matter of is it going to be 300 or 400. So, alright, well, I think that's going to conclude. We wanted this video to only be like 5 minutes long. I think it ended up being like 20. So,
wait, where you at? Don't end it yet.
But I hope...
Wait.
Oh, you logged in?
I never logged out.
Yes, you did. You DC'd.
Oh,
because you're using internet off your phone.
Alright, ready? Bye-bye.
Bye. There you go. Bye, guys. Good luck in 3.0.